For thousands of years, the galaxy lived in quiet fear of one place, human space. No one entered it, no one explored it, no one even spoke about it loudly. Every alien child on every world grew up hearing the same warning from their parents: do not go where the humans once lived, it is forbidden. But now something had changed, something had awakened, and it began with a single message, a desperate, broken message that echoed across the stars. The message: Admiral Cernai of the Voctera Alliance stared at the hologram floating above his desk. The recording was corrupted, it flickered, shook, and twisted like a dying flame. But one thing was clear: the voice inside it did not belong to any known alien, it was human. SS, help anyone if someone is out there, this is Sentinel-9, human space is collapsing, they are returning. Do not let. The message ended with a violent burst of static. Then silence. For a full minute, Cernai did not move. His four dark eyes stayed locked on the empty space where the hologram had been. Humans were not supposed to exist anymore, they vanished thousands of years ago. Every history book said the same thing: the humans died mysteriously, leaving behind silent territory full of dead machines and ruins. But this was a human voice crying for help. Cernai replayed the message, the same broken warning, the same fear in the voice. The same final word before the recording cut out: returning. Returning who, returning what, he did not know, but he knew this message would shake the galaxy. The Council's fear. The High Galactic Council gathered immediately. Their chamber was a massive circular hall filled with beings from 100 species, some with wings, some with metallic limbs, others floating like living clouds. They watched the human message in total silence. When it ended, the room exploded with arguments. A trap, shouted a Rulak warlord. Humans engineered tricks like this in ancient times. No human could survive for thousands of years, a crystalline being argued. Impossible, they are extinct, hissed a Serpentian diplomat. We all know this. But one voice cut through the noise. Ambassador Telia, a calm and respected figure, rose from her seat. The message came from a known human space region, she said. A place we have avoided since their disappearance. But if this is real, if humans are alive, we must know the truth. Must we? Another alien snapped. Human space is forbidden for a reason. Everyone went quiet. Everyone remembered. No one entered human space because those who tried never came back. But curiosity is a powerful force, and fear is even more powerful. Finally, the council voted. A small research fleet would be allowed to investigate the border of human space, nothing more. No deep exploration. No contact, just study the signal source and return. Admiral Cernai was chosen to lead the mission. He knew the danger, he knew the warnings, but he also knew something else: the human voice. It sounded desperate, it sounded alone, it sounded alive, and that was enough to push him forward. The approach. 3 days later, the research fleet arrived near the border of human space. The border was invisible, but every ship felt it like a cold wind. Sensors glitched. Lights flickered, space itself looked wrong, like the stars were watching. Cernai stood on the command deck as the fleet slowed down. Begin long-range scans, he ordered. His crew obeyed, their screens filled with static. Some systems froze entirely, others gave strange readings, energy signatures far beyond anything in modern technology. What is this? Cernai whispered. His science officer shook her head. I don't know, sir. These readings, they don't match any known power source. It looks like old human technology. How old? Thousands of years, but still active. That alone was terrifying. Machines that old should be dust, but human machines, they were waking up. First contact with the past. As the fleet advanced, something massive appeared in front of them. A titan in the darkness, a colossal structure floating silently, half space station, half fortress. It was round, metallic, and covered in millions of tiny lights blinking in perfect patterns. It looked dead and alive at the same time. What is that? A crew member whispered. The science officer's voice trembled. Sir, records identify it as a human defense station. Model Boundary Sentinel, last active date 9,000 years ago. 9,000 years, and yet the lights were glowing. Suddenly the station shifted. It turned, not by accident, not by drifting. It turned toward the alien fleet. Shields up, Cernai ordered immediately. As the shields activated, a beam of pale blue light scanned across the fleet. Every alien froze, feeling like something intelligent and ancient was looking straight into their minds. Then a voice, calm, mechanical, but unmistakably human, echoed across every speaker. Unregistered species detected. You have entered restricted human space. Everyone stared at each other in shock. Restricted, someone whispered. But humans are gone, the voice continued. Leave immediately. This territory is not safe. Cernai stepped forward. This is Admiral Cernai of the Voctera Alliance. We received a distress call from Sentinel-9. We believe a human may still be alive. There was a long, heavy silence, then the station spoke again. The call should not exist. Those words chilled everyone. Explained, Cernai said. Humanity should not exist, the ancient station replied. And yet you heard them. That means the cycle is beginning again. What cycle? Cernai demanded, but the station didn't answer. Instead, all the lights on its surface suddenly turned red. The warning, the massive station's voice deepened. Listen carefully, alien commander. What you heard was not a message from the living. It was an emergency signal trapped in time. Human space is unstable. It remembers everything, and now it remembers you. The station began powering up weapons. Retreat, shouted Cernai, but before the fleet could turn. The station halted its attack. All its lights turned white again. You must leave, it repeated. The humans are gone, but the things they left behind are waking, and if you remain here, they will see you as a threat. Cernai took a deep breath. We cannot leave, not yet. Something is happening here and we need answers. The station's lights dimmed as if it were thinking. Finally, it spoke again. Then I will give you one chance. The entire fleet held its breath. Follow the signal. But know this, every step you take into human space will change you. If you go forward, you will never return the same. Cernai nodded slowly. We will take that risk. The station lowered its weapons and opened a narrow corridor in space, a passage of safe travel. Proceed, it said. Your fate is now tied to the fate of humanity. What watches in the dark? As the fleet moved closer to the signal's origin, something stirred in the darkness behind them. Unseen, silent. Watching, a shape large and metallic drifted through the void. Its surface was covered in ancient human markings, and its eyes, bright blue engines, lit up slowly. It had been asleep for thousands of years. Now it was awake again, and it whispered in a soft mechanical voice, "Foreign life detected, begin observation." The ship followed silently, waiting, studying, remembering. Human space was no longer silent. Something inside it had opened its eyes after a long sleep. And the aliens were the first thing it saw. The research fleet moved deeper into human space, following the narrow, safe corridor the ancient station had opened. Outside the corridor, space looked strange, like something was bending the starlight, pulling it, twisting it, reshaping it into patterns no alien had ever seen. Admiral Cernai stood at the front of the command deck, his eyes fixed on the dark void ahead. The silent fear in his crew's faces told him everything. They were no longer exploring space. They were entering a memory, a human memory, and memories can be dangerous. The corridor of echoes as the fleet advanced, invisible waves passed through their ships. Soft vibrations rattled the walls. Some crew members felt pressure in their heads, others felt cold breath on their necks, even though no one was there. Admiral, I think the corridor is affecting the crew, the medic reported. They feel watched. Cernai nodded slowly. They are not wrong, because he felt it too, a presence, silent, ancient, observing. Then something new appeared. Tiny particles drifted across the ships like silver snowflakes. They floated through hull plating as if the metal wasn't even real. What are those? A pilot whispered. The science officer swallowed hard. They look like nanotech, extremely old but still functional. Human nanotech? Cernai asked. She nodded. That would be my guess. The particles glowed softly like stars in the shape of dust. When they touched the ship's windows, they formed brief symbols, circles within circles, the symbol of ancient Earth science. One crew member stepped closer to the window. The moment he exhaled, the particles pulsed as if they were breathing with him. The corridor was not just a path, it was a scanner, a test. And the aliens were being examined like insects under a microscope. The dead city in space. After several hours, the corridor expanded, revealing something massive ahead. A giant ring-shaped structure floating in space. At least 20 kilometers wide, completely silent. It looked like a city, but built for ghosts. Skyscraper-like towers rose from the ring, filled with broken windows and dead lights. Empty walkways connected one tower to another. Everything was made of ancient human alloys, tougher than anything the Galaxy Council used today. Some towers were twisted, some were half destroyed, some still had faint blue lights blinking deep inside. What is this place? A navigator whispered. The science officer checked the archives. This is impossible. What do you mean? Cernai asked. This place matches old descriptions of human ring cities, but those were myths, no proof they ever existed. Cernai stared at the silent megastructure. It wasn't a myth, it was real, and it looked like it had died slowly, painfully. Over thousands of years. Can we detect life? He asked. The science officer bit her lip. No life, but something is moving. Moving, he repeated. Yes, in the shadows, something small or maybe something very fast. The ship's sensors flickered. For a moment, the fleet saw dozens, maybe hundreds of tiny shapes crawling across the towers, then the shapes vanished. Are we being watched? Cernai asked quietly. The science officer didn't answer. She didn't have to. Everyone already knew the truth. The first ghost machine. Suddenly, the ship's alarm screamed. Unidentified object approaching. A small metallic object shot out from behind a ruined tower. It moved like a bullet, silent, fast, deadly. It stopped only when it was 100 meters from the lead ship. It hovered there, watching. It was a drone, a human drone, except it looked nothing like any drone the aliens had seen. Its surface was smooth, black, and liquid-like, shifting shape every few seconds. A single blue eye glowed in the center, focusing on the ships. Should we prepare weapons? The tactical officer asked. No, Cernai said. Do nothing unless it attacks. The drone pulsed. A blue symbol formed in the air around it like a hologram, but made of light itself. The translator AI tried to read it. It says identify. Cernai stepped forward. This is Admiral Cernai of the Vok Terra Alliance. We seek the source of a human distress call. The drone floated closer, its eye widened, then it spoke, not in an alien voice, not in mechanical tone, but in perfect, fluent ancient human English. "You should not be here." Everyone froze. "Human," one crew member whispered, but the voice didn't sound human. It sounded like a memory of a human, a recording playing itself, a shadow speaking through metal. The drone continued, "Human space is waking. Defenses are waking, the threats are waking. Leave now." "We cannot," Cernai replied firmly. "We followed a distress call." The drone flickered violently. "Distress call is forbidden." Suddenly, the light symbols around the drone began spinning rapidly. The science officer gasped. "Sir, the drone is scanning our entire fleet." The spinning symbols slowed, then stopped. The drone's eye dimmed. It spoke again. "You are different from the others who came before. You have curiosity, hope." Cernai frowned. "What others? What happened to them?" The drone lowered its voice. "They were erased." The command deck filled with cold silence. "What remains of humanity?" The drone floated back a few meters, as if giving itself space to think. Its shifting skin formed shapes, faces, maps, strange human symbols before melting back into smooth metal. Cernai waited patiently. Finally, the drone spoke. "I am Echo 3. I was created before the fall of humanity." "Before they disappeared?" Cernai asked. The drone pulsed. "Humanity did not disappear. Humanity transcended." The fleet exchanged uneasy looks. "Transcended how?" Cernai asked. Echo 3 ignored the question. Instead, it projected a hologram, a scene of devastation, planets broken, stars dimming, human ships fighting an invisible enemy. Then all at once, the hologram went dark. "Is this real?" Cernai whispered. Echo 3 answered. "Humans fought something no species could understand, something older than stars, something that fed on existence itself." The aliens shivered. "And humans lost?" Cernai asked. Echo 3 hesitated. "Then humans won, but victory cost everything. Their bodies gone, their worlds dead, their minds changed." "What do you mean changed?" Cernai asked again. Echo 3 did not reply. Instead, the drone suddenly turned its eye toward a distant part of the ring. "Admiral," the science officer said, her voice rising, "something is coming." Awakening of the silent fleet lights began activating across the ring city. One by one, tower by tower, blue human lights, cold, mechanical, exact, thousands of them. At first it looked beautiful, then it looked horrifying because the lights were not random. They formed lines, patterns, grids, as if the entire megastructure was turning on. "What did we trigger?" a pilot whispered. Echo 3 voice became urgent. "You must leave now. The system is recognizing you as intruders. If it marks you as hostile, nothing can save you." Cernai clenched his jaw. "We're not leaving until we find the source of the distress call." Echo 3 stared at him. For a long moment, the drone seemed to struggle internally, like two different programs were fighting each other. Then it finally spoke. "Very well, if you continue, I will guide you." "You're helping us?" Cernai asked. "Not for you," Echo 3 replied. "For them, the humans?" Cernai asked. Echo 3 eye flickered. "Humans left something behind, something important, something fragile, something alive." Cernai felt his heart beating faster. "What is it?" Echo 3 began to answer, but the entire ring city suddenly trembled. Lights across its surface turned red, a deep, echoing voice, metallic and ancient, spread across space. "Unauthorized presence detected." Echo 3 eye widened. "You have been found. The silent fleet is awakening." Cernai's blood ran cold. "What is the silent fleet?" he asked. Echo 3 voice dimmed to a whisper. "Humanity's last army." Before anyone could react, dozens of enormous shapes emerged from the shadows of the ring city, dark, silent, colossal, dead human warships that were no longer dead. Their engines ignited with blue fire. Their weapons hummed with ancient power. They turned toward the alien fleet like predators that had finally smelled prey. Echo 3 spoke one final time, "Run," and the silent fleet attacked. The stars trembled as the silent fleet rose from the ruins of the ring city. For thousands of years, these human warships had slept like iron giants buried in darkness. Now they opened their glowing blue eyes for the first time in ages, and they were looking directly at the alien fleet. Admiral Cernai felt his breath tighten. 20 no 30 no hundreds of gigantic human warships were rising from the shadows. Each one was the size of a mountain. Some were sleek and sharp like blades. Others were bulky, armored giants built for war. Their hulls were marked with human symbols, battle scars, and glowing blue veins that looked almost alive. The alien ships felt like insects beside them. "Are they real?" the pilot whispered. Echo 3 hovered near the command deck window, its single blue eye trembling. "They are more than real," it said quietly. "They are angry." A force beyond sanity, the silent fleet moved with perfect, unnatural coordination. Not a single ship drifted, not a single engine misfired. They moved like one mind, one being, one memory of war. The alien fleet watched in terror as the human dreadnoughts aligned their weapons. Massive cannons glowed with rising energy. Blue lightning crawled across their armor. A low hum spread across space, a sound that felt like it came from the bones of the universe. "Shields at maximum," Cernai ordered. His voice cracked. They were not ready. No species in the galaxy was ready for this. The tactical officer shouted, "Admiral, they're charging something huge." "What is it?" "I don't know, but if they fire, we won't survive." Suddenly, the silent fleet spoke in one united voice, a voice older than any living memory. Intruders detected, prepare for erasure. The words hit the crew like a cold knife. Erasure, someone whispered. Echo 3 floated forward, trembling. It means total destruction, no remains, no signals, no memory of your existence. The alien fleet panicked. Retreat, someone cried, but the corridor behind them, the only safe path, began collapsing. Space twisted and folded like a melting mirror. They were trapped. The silent fleet fired. The impossible shield, a wave of blue-white energy shot toward the alien ships, faster than light, louder than thunder, bright enough to blind sensors. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a human judgment. Admiral Cernai braced for the end, but something unexpected happened. A wall of golden light erupted between the two fleets, blocking the blast. Everyone gasped. "What is that?" Cernai whispered. The golden light shimmered softly, almost warm, almost alive. It rippled like water in sunlight, absorbing the human attack until the energy finally faded. Echo 3 froze, its voice was shaking. "That should not exist." "What is it?" Cernai demanded. Echo 3 eye widened. "A humanity override field. Only one type of human could activate it." "Which type?" Cernai asked. Echo 3 spoke a single word, "a living one." Silence filled the command deck. A living human, here, now. It sounded impossible, but the golden shield still glowed, proof that something human had intervened. The human signal returns. As the shield faded, a new signal began broadcasting across the entire region. It was soft, distant, and broken, like a voice speaking from beneath the ocean. The same voice from the distress call. "This is Sentinel-9. If anyone hears, get out. They are waking. They will not stop until..." Static ripped through the message. But it was enough. Cernai stared at the signal in shock. "This message is not from the past. It is active. Someone is alive." Echo 3 turned sharply, its eye glowing like a star. "We must move now." "Move where?" Cernai asked. Echo 3 pointed toward the darkest part of the ring city, a broken tower with a hollow center. "The origin point. Sentinel-9 is there." Cernai nodded. "Fleet, prepare to move." But the silent fleet was already shifting. Dozens of dreadnoughts rotated, aiming their weapons again. Only this time, their aim was not at the aliens. Their aim was at the golden shield's source. "They think a human is alive," the science officer whispered, "and they're trying to destroy them." Echo 3 pulsed urgently. "We must hurry. If the silent fleet reaches Sentinel-9, humanity's last secret will die." Escape through the graveyard. The alien fleet accelerated into the shadows of the ring city. Ruined towers surrounded them like dead giants. Broken bridges floated past their ships. Human writing, ancient English and symbols glowed faintly on the metallic walls. Everything felt haunted. Everything felt alive. But the silent fleet was not far behind. Massive engines roared as human dreadnoughts chased the aliens through the ruins, firing beam after beam of blue-white power. Explosions lit up the ring city like a dying sun. A small alien ship was hit first. It didn't explode, it simply vanished, erased from existence, as Echo 3 warned. "No remains," Cernai whispered. Another alien ship dodged too late. A beam sliced through space, cutting its hull like soft paper. In seconds, the ship was gone. Cernai clenched his fists. "We cannot fight this. We can only run." Echo 3 zipped ahead, guiding them through tight corridors and shattered tunnels. "Follow me. Human defenses cannot fire inside this area. They risk hitting their own structures." The alien fleet dove through a narrow passage barely wide enough for their ships. Sparks flew as metal scraped metal. The silent fleet's larger ships could not follow, but smaller hunter-class vessels peeled off and chased them inside the ruins. "These ones are fast," a pilot shouted. "They're smaller versions," Echo 3 explained. "Raven-class hunters designed to tear apart enemy fleets." The hunters charged their weapons, but something strange happened. A wave of golden light swept through the corridor, disrupting the hunters' sensors. They spiraled, crashing into the walls and disintegrating into silver dust. Echo 3 gasped. "The living human, they are protecting you." Cernai felt chills. "Why protect us?" Echo 3 voice softened. "Because humans were always protectors, even after death." The heart of the signal finally. The alien fleet reached the center of the ring city. A huge chamber opened to space, filled with broken machinery, glowing human tech, and floating debris. And there in the middle of the chamber was a single working human structure. A sphere made of golden metal, cracked and flickering with dim light. It looked almost like an egg, but covered in cables and energy circuits. "This is the source," the science officer said. Cernai stared at the sphere. "Sentinel-9 is inside that." Echo 3 floated forward. Yes, Sentinel-9 was a hybrid creation, half human, half machine, a guardian. A quiet, weak pulse came from the sphere. "Anyone, please, they're coming. I can't hold." Static swallowed the rest. Echo 3 eye flashed with something like emotion. "We must open it, quickly." Cernai nodded. "Bring us in. Form a defensive circle around the sphere." The alien ship surrounded the golden structure, preparing to cut it open. But before they could, the silent fleet arrived. Hundreds of human dreadnoughts emerged from the shadows, surrounding the chamber from all sides. Every engine glowed with killing light, every weapon pointed at the golden sphere. Echo 3 screamed for the first time ever, ***, stop them. If they destroy the sphere, humanity will never return. The Silent Fleet charged their cannons, the entire chamber filled with deadly blue fire. Cernai shouted, shields up. All ships defend the sphere. And the biggest battle in the galaxy's history began. The Silent Fleet fired, blue-white beams tore across space, bright enough to burn stars. The alien fleet braced for total destruction. Shields glowed, metal screamed, and the golden sphere flickered like it was about to shatter. And then everything stopped, not slowed, stopped. The beams froze in midair, frozen like blue spears made of ice. The alien ship stopped shaking. Echo 3 hung perfectly still, its eyes stuck mid-blink. A pilot's scream was trapped in his throat, silent and unmoving. Only Admiral Cernai could move, only him. He looked around wildly. What is this? He tried to touch a frozen beam. His hand passed straight through it like fog. He wasn't alone. A shape stepped out of the golden sphere. A human shape, but not solid, not exactly real. A glowing figure made of golden dust. Wearing the outline of a human suit, but with no face, only soft light. The figure spoke in a calm, almost tired voice. You should not be here, Admiral Cernai. Cernai stumbled back. You're a human. The figure tilted its head. I was once. The human who survived the end. The golden figure walked forward slowly, passing through frozen energy beams like they didn't exist. Its body shimmered with memories, cities, battles, stars exploding. Humans fighting something unseen. Cernai swallowed. Are you Sentinel-9? The figure nodded. Yes, I sent the call. I sent it because I am dying. Cernai pointed at the frozen battlefield. What is all this? Did you stop time? The figure chuckled softly. Time never stops. I simply moved you outside of it. Cernai felt shaken. Why me? Why only me? The golden figure stepped closer, its voice heavy with sadness. Because you listened. Listened to what? To the fear in my voice, to the truth of the warning. The golden figure lifted a hand. In its palm, star-like particles swirled, forming a vision. The thing that came before the vision showed the galaxy as it used to be, bright, full of civilizations, full of human ships traveling everywhere. Then darkness fell. A huge shadow drifted across stars, swallowing their light. Worlds died without a single weapon fire. Space folded. Reality tore. Human armies fought something they could not see or touch. Cernai felt cold sweat. What is that thing? The golden figure's voice shook. It was called the Silence, a species without bodies, without form. It moved through shadows, feeding on energy, thought, memory, life itself. Cernai swallowed. How did humans fight it? The figure looked at him. With everything, with every ship, every soldier, every invention, every dream. The vision showed human ships exploding in oceans of light. Giants built of metal and stars fighting shadows that ate light. Humans dying by the billions. But humanity won, Cernai whispered. Sentinel-9 shook its head. No, humanity survived. Those are not the same thing. The truth of the Silent Fleet. The vision faded. Now Cernai saw the Silent Fleet as they truly were. Massive, beautiful, terrifying, but empty. ***, these ships, are they alive? Cernai asked softly. Sentinel-9 shook its glowing head. No, they are dead. Their crews are gone. Their minds burned out long ago. Then who controls them? The golden figure paused. The Silent Fleet is controlled by human memories, fragments of minds stored in the ship cores. They only understand one command: protect humanity at any cost. Cernai looked around at the suspended beams of death. And they think we are a threat. Yes, Sentinel-9 whispered. Because only something dangerous would come this deep into human space. Cernai clenched his fists. We came because you asked for help. Sentinel-9 looked at him, its faceless expression somehow sad. And for that I am sorry. The human condition. The golden figure floated closer. I am fading, Admiral. My body died long ago, but my mind survived in this machine. I was designed to protect the last human secret. What secret? Cernai asked. Sentinel-9 extended a hand. Light swirled, forming a vision of a glowing child floating in a stasis chamber. The child's hair floated like golden threads. Their body shimmered like light and matter mixed. Cernai stepped back. Is that a human? Not a normal one, Sentinel-9 whispered. The last of our kind, a human born after the fall. Cernai's heart pounded. A living human child here? Sentinel-9 nodded. Yes. If the Silent Fleet destroys this chamber, humanity will truly disappear. What humanity became? The glowing figure continued. Most humans didn't die. They evolved or dissolved into something else. Their bodies turned into energy. Their thoughts merged with stars. They became quiet. Cernai frowned. You mean they became part of the universe? Sentinel-9 nodded. Exactly. That is why space changes around you. Human space is not empty. It is alive. It remembers. The golden figure stepped closer. And it does not trust aliens. Why Cernai was chosen? Cernai felt a strange heat in his chest. Then why did you call us? Why me? Sentinel-9 lifted a hand. Golden dust drifted around Cernai, showing his memories, him saving a small alien child, him ending battles peacefully, him choosing diplomacy over war, him showing mercy when others wanted violence. Sentinel-9 spoke softly. Because humans admired something in your kind, hope. You believe someone might still be alive. You came to help. That is why you can move while time holds frozen. You have something inside you that humanity once had. Asterisk asterisk, what is that? Cernai whispered. The figure touched his chest gently. Courage. The return of time. The golden sphere behind them cracked suddenly, sending shockwaves through space. Sentinel-9 staggered. I cannot hold time frozen much longer. I need you to protect the child. How? Cernai shouted. Against the silent fleet we have no chance. The golden figure gripped his shoulders, not by force, by choosing the right path. What path? The figure leaned close. You must awaken the child. Cernai's eyes widened. And then, Sentinel-9 voice became a whisper. Then humanity will decide if the galaxy is worth returning to. A thunderous crack echoed, time snapped back, beams moved again, shields flared, ships screamed, the silent fleet resumed firing. Sentinel-9 faded, its voice echoing, Go, Admiral, save the last human. The battle begins again. Cernai jumped into action. All ships fall back to the sphere, defensive formation. The silent fleet attacked with terrifying precision. Dreadnoughts unleashed storms of energy. Hunter-class ships swarmed like metallic wolves, but the alien fleet formed a tight shield ring around the golden sphere. Echo 3 came back online, panicked. Admiral, I lost connection, something happened. Cernai lowered his voice. We need to open the sphere now. Echo 3 froze. Inside is something the galaxy is not ready for. Cernai stared at the sphere glowing with golden cracks. We have no choice. The battle raged outside. The silent fleet closed in. The last human child slept inside the sphere, and Cernai stepped forward to open humanity's final door. The battlefield shook as human dreadnoughts fired again. Blue-white beams slammed against the alien fleet's shields, cracking them like glass under pressure. Metal burned, alarms screamed, and terrified voices echoed through every ship. But Admiral Cernai ignored all of it. His focus was on one thing, the golden sphere, the child inside, the last human. Echo 3 hovered beside him, its metal skin flickering with fear-like static. Admiral, I must warn you, it said quickly. Opening the sphere may trigger a defense protocol we cannot control. Cernai wiped dust and sparks from his face. We don't have time. The silent fleet wants to destroy whatever is inside. Echo 3 eye dimmed. Not destroy, it hesitated. Contain. Contain what? Cernai demanded. Echo 3 floated back slightly. A living human is unstable. They are more powerful than the silent fleet, even asleep. Cernai froze. What do you mean powerful? Echo 3 pulsed faintly, the light trembling. Humans changed, Admiral. The child inside is not like the humans of old. They are something new, something that could reshape space itself. Before Cernai could respond, the sphere cracked again, releasing a sharp burst of golden light. It felt warm, alive, and ancient. Cernai stepped back as more cracks spread across it like glowing veins. The child awakened suddenly. The golden sphere shattered like glass struck by lightning. But instead of falling apart, the fragments floated, suspended around a small figure curled inside, a child, barely 10 years old, floating peacefully, eyes closed as if sleeping inside sunlight. Their hair glowed like soft fire. Their skin shimmered like starlight. Each breath they took sent ripples through the air, bending reality in gentle waves. Cernai felt his heart stop. They are beautiful. Echo 3 lowered itself respectfully. The last human born, the only one with a physical body. Cernai reached a trembling hand toward the child, but the moment his fingers touched the golden air around them, everything changed. A shockwave rippled outward, shields flared, ships tilted violently. The frozen sphere fragments spun into a halo of light, and the human child slowly opened their eyes. They were not normal eyes. They were galaxies, spiraling stars, deep cosmic patterns, memories of wars, dreams of creation. The child spoke in a soft, trembling voice. Where am I? The silent fleet reacts as soon as the child spoke. The entire silent fleet stopped firing. All dreadnought engines dimmed. Weapons lowered. Hunter ships froze mid-flight. The massive human warships slowly rotated toward the golden chamber, their lights shifting from blue to white. They were no longer attacking. They were waiting. Echo 3 shivered. They detected the awakening. The silent fleet is entering the prime recognition protocol. What does that mean? Cernai asked. Echo 3 voice cracked. It means they recognize the child as higher authority. Cernai looked at the glowing child hovering before him. So the silent fleet won't attack now? Echo 3 hesitated. Yes, but something worse may happen. What could be worse than being erased? Cernai asked. Echo 3 stared at the child. The child remembers. The child floated down gently. Their bare feet touched the metal floor without making a sound. They looked around with wide, frightened eyes. Where is everyone? The child whispered. Echo 3 floated closer, lowering itself like a bow. They are gone, it said softly. You are the last. The child blinked and golden tears formed in their starry eyes. I remember them, they whispered, their voice trembled. I remember the songs, the cities, the battles, the shadows, the light that took them away. Cernai stepped forward. Do you remember your name? The child looked up slowly. I am Lyra. The name echoed like music in the chamber. Cernai felt a strange warmth in his chest. Lyra, he repeated softly, you're safe now. but Lyra shook her head. No, I'm not, her voice cracked. They're coming back. Who? Cernai asked. Lyra looked at him with those infinite eyes. The silence, the enemy humanity feared. Echo 3 suddenly vibrated with panic. The silence cannot return. They were sealed away when the humans sacrificed everything. Lyra hugged herself, trembling. They were sealed but not destroyed. They're hungry, they're moving, I can feel them. Cernai felt the air tighten. They are coming here. Lyra nodded. They always come here first, to finish what they started. Echo 3 systems flickered violently. If the silence returns now, everything ends, every species, every star. Cernai felt fear grip his stomach. How much time do we have? Lyra closed her eyes. Not much. The human power. As Lyra stepped forward, the air shimmered. Golden lines formed beneath her feet like the floor itself was obeying her. The silent fleet reacted instantly. All human dreadnoughts activated their engines and formed a perfect circle around the chamber, weapons pointed outward as if preparing for an invisible enemy. The entire ring city shook. Golden cracks formed on the walls. Lyra turned to Cernai. You shouldn't be here, you shouldn't see this. Cernai knelt down in front of her. I'm not leaving, he said firmly. Your protector Sentinel-9 trusted us and I won't break that trust. Lyra stared at him, confused by such loyalty. No alien has ever helped a human before, she whispered. Cernai managed a weak smile. Then let us be the first. Lyra's galaxy-filled eyes softened but then widened in sudden terror. The darkness arrives, a ripple passed through space, lights dimmed, stars flickered like candles, a cold wind impossible in vacuum blew across the chamber. Echo 3 screamed. No, it's too soon, they should not be here yet. The silent fleet formed a tight phalanx. Hunter ships poured out like swarms of fire. Dreadnoughts glowed with full power. Lyra grabbed Cernai's hand tightly. Her small palm was warm but trembling. Then a hole opened in space. Not a portal, not a wormhole, a hole like reality was peeling away. Black fog seeped out. Whispers filled the chamber. The metal walls turned cold. Lyra's voice cracked with terror. It's them, the silence. The first shadow from the black fog. A shape emerged, thin, tall, wrong. It wasn't alive, it wasn't dead. It was like a shadow pretending to be something real. A single whisper echoed. Huma, and Lyra screamed and fell to her knees, covering her ears. Cernai lifted her up protectively. Echo 3 voice broke into static. The silence has found the last human. The defense fleet will not hold. The silent fleet fired the first volley. Thousands of blue beams tore into the shadow. The shadow absorbed them. Then it grew bigger, darker, hungrier. Lyra's power. Lyra pushed herself away from Cernai, her eyes glowing bright gold. I won't let them destroy everything again. She raised her hands. Golden light exploded from her body. The fog vanished. The shadow shrieked. The chamber shook. Stop, she screamed. Reality trembled under her voice. The shadow dissolved, but the fog grew stronger behind it. Echo 3 shouted, Admiral, she's destabilizing the entire sector. If she keeps using her power, human space will collapse. Cernai grabbed Lyra's shoulders. Lyra, stop, you'll hurt yourself. Lyra looked at him with tears streaming down her glowing face. I don't want to die alone again. Cernai pulled her into his arms. You won't, I promise. Behind them the fog rippled like a living ocean. Dozens more shadows began emerging. The silence had come, and humanity's last child was not strong enough to stop them alone. Cernai looked at the silent fleet surrounding them. Echo 3, he said quietly, we need a miracle. Echo 3 eye turned bright white, then we must do the unthinkable. The chamber trembled as more shadows emerged from the tier in space. The silence moved without sound, without shape, without mercy. Behind Lyra and Admiral Cernai, the alien fleet struggled to maintain formation. Shields flickered, hulls cracked, engines screamed. Echo 3 hovered near the glowing child, its voice filled with more fear than any machine should have. We must do the unthinkable. Cernai wiped blood from the side of his head. What unthinkable thing? We're out of time. Echo 3 turned toward the black fog, swallowing the edges of the chamber. The silent fleet must merge with the last human. Lyra gasped. Cernai stared, shocked. You want the human child to merge with thousands of warships? Echo 3 nodded. It is the only way to create the power needed to fight the silence. Lyra shook her head violently, golden strands of hair glowing. I don't want to become a weapon. Cernai knelt beside her. Lyra, you're not a weapon, you're a child. Lyra's voice trembled. A child who can end the universe by accident. Echo 3 voice softened. Not end it, save it. You are the heart humans left behind. The shadows inside the fog began whispering, low, cold, hungry. Cernai stood and faced Echo 3. If she merges with the silent fleet, what happens to her mind? Echo 3 dimmed. She will remain herself if she is strong enough. And if she isn't, Cernai asked. Echo 3 hesitated. Then she becomes the silent fleet. Lyra clutched Cernai's sleeve. I don't want to disappear. He gently held her hands. You won't, I won't let you. The fog exploded. The silence attacks. A massive shadow burst forward, tall as a tower. Its form shifting like liquid night. It swung an arm of darkness across the chamber. The silent fleet fired instantly. Blue beams tore into the shadow, but it absorbed the energy, growing even larger. The floor cracked under its weight, gravity twisted, alien ships spiraled. Cernai grabbed Lyra and rolled aside just before a blast of darkness hit the ground, leaving a hole where space should be. Lyra cried out, "They want me, they always wanted me." Echo 3 hissed, "They can smell human energy, you are the last bright flame in the dark." Lyra's light flickered weakly. "I'm scared." Cernai put a protective arm around her small shoulders. "You're not alone." Behind them, the entire silent fleet charged their main cannons. Blue light filled their weapons so bright it hurt to look at. But the shadows kept coming, 10, 20, 100. The silence flooded the chamber like a rising tide of nightmares. Cernai shouted, "Echo 3, if Lyra merges with the fleet, will she survive?" Echo 3 voice tightened, "She must choose it herself. Humans cannot be merged by force." Lyra took a trembling step forward. Lyra's decision, the golden aura around her flickered like a dying candle. "They came for me when I was born," Lyra whispered. "They wanted to take me, they killed my parents, they killed everyone." Cernai nodded slowly. "I know." Lyra looked up at him, eyes full of swirling galaxies. "I don't want anyone else to die because of me." Cernai's heart clenched. "Lyra, listen, your life matters, you matter." The chamber shook as a shadow smashed through a human dreadnought, splitting it in half like paper. The silent fleet's unity was breaking. Echo 3 floated closer. "Lyra, humanity trusted you with its final breath. You are not made to destroy, you are made to guide." Lyra's small hand closed into a fist. Then she wiped her tears and nodded. "Okay, I'll do it." Cernai shouted, "No, Lyra, wait." But she stepped toward the center of the chamber, raising both hands. The silent fleet reacted instantly. Every dreadnought rotated, every hunter ship turned, every weapon dimmed. The warships formed a circle of light around her. A hum echoed across the sector, a hum that sounded like billions of human voices whispering together, "We are here." Lyra looked at Cernai one last time. "Don't forget me." Before he could reach her, golden light swallowed her whole. The air cracked, the chamber expanded, the walls melted into stardust. Cernai felt his ears ringing as Lyra's scream filled the void, not of pain but of overwhelming power. The silent fleet opened like flowers blooming, energy cores exposed, memory banks unlocked, ancient human essence poured from every ship. Golden veins connected each warship to Lyra. Light spilled outward, thousands of connections linking the child to human creations across the ring city. Her voice echoed across the galaxy. "I remember everything. Human cities, human dreams, human losses, human wars, human hope." It all rushed into her tiny body. The silent fleet roared in unison. Their blue lights turned gold, their engines burned like small suns, their weapons glowed with cosmic fire. Echo 3 voice trembled with awe. "She did it." Cernai watched, breathless. "Lyra, what have you become?" Echo 3 whispered, "The human star." Humanity returns. The shadows hesitated for the first time. The silence pulled back, whispering in confusion. Lyra's voice echoed from every warship, "You killed my family." The shadows shrank. "You killed my people." The fog trembled. "You tried to kill me." The silence surged forward again, desperate, furious, but Lyra raised one small glowing hand. And the entire silent fleet obeyed. Thousands of golden cannons fired at once, a storm of light so bright it turned shadows solid, then shattered them. The silence howled in pain. Lyra stepped forward, hovering above the broken ground, eyes burning like twin suns. "Leave my galaxy." The shadows screamed. The fog pulled back violently. The rip in space collapsed and the silence was gone. For a moment, the universe was quiet. "The child who shines brighter than stars." Lyra floated gently to the floor, golden aura glowing softly. The silent fleet lowered their weapons. The alien ships powered down, stunned. Cernai ran to her. "Lyra, are you?" She turned to him. Her eyes were still galaxies, but softer now. Her voice was still cosmic, but gentle. "I'm okay." Cernai knelt, breath trembling. "How much of the fleet is inside you?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Not inside me, with me. They listen when I speak, they remember me, I remember them." Then her smile faded, "But the silence is not destroyed, they will return, they always return." Cernai put a hand on her shoulder, "And we'll fight them together." Lyra looked around the chamber quietly, touching the metal as if sensing memories inside it. "I'm not alone anymore," she whispered. For the first time in her life, she sounded hopeful. Echo 3 drifted near them, eye glowing warmly. "Humanity has returned in its smallest form." Cernai looked at Lyra, standing there with golden light surrounding her like a newborn star. "No," he corrected softly. "Humanity has returned in its strongest form." Lyra blushed, a small, very human reaction, and somewhere deep in space, a forgotten star flickered awake. Humanity was not gone, it was being reborn. Space was quiet. For the first time since entering human space, Admiral Cernai felt something close to peace. The shadows had vanished, the fog retreated, and the silent fleet hovered like a ring of golden guardians around the chamber. But the quiet did not feel safe. It felt like the calm before something larger, something older, something unavoidable. Lyra, the last human, stood in the center of the chamber, small, glowing, breathing gently. Her golden aura faded, leaving her looking like an ordinary child again except for her eyes. They held galaxies, memories of billions, pain older than stars, and power no one fully understood. Echo 3 approached her carefully like approaching a living son. "Lyra, how do you feel?" Lyra looked down at her small hands. "I feel heavy," she whispered, "like the stars are sitting on my shoulders." Sernai knelt beside her. "You just fought ancient monsters. Anyone would feel tired." Lyra shook her head softly. "It's not tired, it's knowing too much." Her voice cracked. "I remember every human, every smile, every death, every dream." Tears welled in her cosmic eyes. Sernai placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You don't have to carry it alone." Lyra smiled weakly. "No one helped me before. I didn't know what help even looked like." Her smile faded. "But now I do." The silent fleet watches outside. The massive human dreadnoughts floated in a perfect golden ring around the chamber. Their engines pulsed with synchronized heartbeats. Every ship was silent. Every weapon was lowered. Every light was warm. They were waiting for her. Sernai felt a chill. "They're obeying her completely," he whispered. Echo 3 nodded. "Humans designed the silent fleet with one ultimate rule: obey the last descendant. They never expected the last descendant to be a child." Sernai looked at Lyra. "A child with the power of 1,000,000 warships," he whispered. Echo 3 floated lower. "She has human kindness. She will not use it for harm." Sernai hoped Echo 3 was right, because the galaxy had never faced a power like this. The wound in space, the tear where the silence entered, still pulsed in the distance. Small cracks shimmered around it like broken glass trying to heal. Sernai stared at the wound. "It's still open." Echo 3 beeped with concern. "Yes, the silence were just scouts." Lyra touched the cold metal floor and closed her eyes. "There are more coming," she said quietly. "A lot more." Sernai felt dread creep through him. "How long do we have?" Lyra opened her eyes. They glowed brighter than before. "Not enough." The human decision. Lyra floated a few inches off the floor, her aura intensifying. Echo 3 voice sharpened. "Lyra, no, you're still weak from merging." But Lyra raised her hand toward the wound in space. The silent fleet reacted immediately. Every dreadnought rotated. Every weapon charged. Every hunter ship formed tight formations. Gold light filled human space. Sernai covered his eyes as the light grew brighter. Lyra whispered, "I will close the wound." Echo 3 panicked. "You cannot. It requires more energy than you possess. You will burn yourself." Lyra looked at Sernai. Her eyes were afraid. "Human afraid. I don't want to die." Sernai grabbed her hands. "Then don't. You are not alone. Let us help." Lyra's voice shook. "I don't know how to accept help." Sernai squeezed her hands firmly. "Then learn right now with me." Her cosmic eyes widened. Sernai spoke clearly, gently. "You don't carry humanity alone. Let us carry it together." The golden aura around Lyra flickered violently, not fading but changing. It brightened, deepened, softened. She whispered, "Okay, I'll try." The light of two worlds. Lyra floated upward again, eyes glowing brighter, but she didn't face the wound alone. She held Sernai's hand, and something incredible happened. A small light, warm, gentle, spread from Sernai's hand into Lyra's body. Echo 3 gasped. "Admiral, your mind, your memories, they are merging with hers." Sernai staggered but didn't let go. "I'm with you, Lyra. You're not alone anymore." Lyra closed her glowing eyes. Her voice trembled. "I can feel your whole life, your hopes, your kindness." Sernai grinned painfully. "Take what you need." Lyra turned toward the wound again. Her aura changed color, not gold anymore, but gold mixed with blue. Echo 3 floated backward in shock. "She's merging human power with alien humanity." Sernai whispered, "Maybe that's what the galaxy needed all along." The closing of the wound. Lyra raised both hands. The silent fleet raised their cannons. Thousands of golden beams aimed at the wound. Lyra whispered, "Help me." Sernai nodded and held her tighter. "I'm here." Lyra took a deep breath and unleashed her power. Golden light engulfed the entire sector. The silent fleet fired in unison, merging their light with Lyra's. The beam struck the tier in reality. The wound screamed. The chamber shook violently. Echo 3 systems glitched from overload. Lyra screamed too, raw, painful, human. Sernai held her as she convulsed in the air. "It's too much," Echo 3 cried. "She's burning up," but Sernai refused to let go. "Lyra, stay with me." Lyra's voice cracked. "It hurts." "I know, but I'm here. You're not alone." Lyra clung to his arm. The tear resisted, but it began to shrink, slowly, painfully, desperately. The light grew brighter, blinding everyone. The silent fleet roared like ancient titans. Lyra screamed again. The wound snapped shut. A shockwave blasted through space. Everything went dark. The human star fades. When Sernai opened his eyes, the chamber was quiet. The silent fleet floated silently, engines dim. Echo 3 rebooted with a stuttering flicker, and Lyra lay unconscious in Sernai's arms, glowing faintly. He shook her gently. "Lyra, wake up, please." She didn't move. Her breathing was soft but weak. Echo 3 scanned her. Her energy is drained. She used nearly all her human essence to close the wound. Sernai felt a wave of fear wash over him. Will she survive? Echo 3 looked at the readings. "It depends." Sernai clenched his teeth. "On what?" Echo 3 floated closer. "It depends on you." Sernai blinked. "Me?" Echo 3 nodded. "She linked to your life, your mind, your will. If you stay with her, she will live." If you leave her, she will fade. Cernai looked down at the small glowing child sleeping in his arms. So humanity's last hope depends on us. Echo 3 voice softened. Humans always needed allies, they just learned that too late. Cernai nodded slowly. Then I won't leave her. He held Lyra close, her tiny hand curled weakly around his. A tear rolled down her cheek. She whispered, barely audible, don't go. Cernai whispered back, I'm not going anywhere. The silent fleet slowly shifted around them, forming a protective shell, their lights pulsing gently as if watching over their new commander. Lyra, the last human, slept, and for the first time in thousands of years, humanity had someone to protect them. Not just a machine, not just a child, but a friend.